There are new rules for short-term rentals in Charleston County. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down one-on-one with former Charleston County Registered Deeds candidate and current realtor Patrick Bell, one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Or listen to this interview later on iHeartRadio. Patrick Bell.
Good morning.
It's so good to see you again.
Good to see you as always.
Oh, I appreciate this greatly. Well, I wanted to bring you back to Quintin's Close-Ups because obviously you're a well-known realtor here in Charleston. And obviously last week, I believe 6 days ago, the Charleston County Council adopted new regulations for short-term rental properties. Let me take you to the Moochie News article from July 26. It reads this: on July 24th, Charleston County Council adopted short-term rental property regulations designed to protect the quality of life and character of residential neighborhoods while allowing property owners to operate short-term rental properties within unincorporated Charleston County. Let me pick apart that really quick.
Okay.
What is the quality of life right now and the character of those neighborhoods after these regulations, that is, have been passed by County Council?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's as you've probably seen on the Facebook posts, it's a hard one to answer. In unincorporated Charleston County, I feel confident that we've done a pretty good job with our ordinance that was just passed. You know, the challenge has been both protecting property rights so that people can do their short-term rentals, but also protecting the quality of life of everybody around them to make sure they don't ruin the neighborhoods. I think Charleston County and Charleston County Council have done a good job of passing an ordinance that will do both of those things. Of course, only time will tell. And we'll come back and look at it probably next year to see if it's working the way it's intended.
Why now?
Oh, it's, in my opinion, past due. As you know, I'm on the Planning Commission and chair of the short-term rental subcommittee for the Charleston County Planning Commission. We've been working on this ordinance for 2 years, about 2 years and 4 or 5 months to get it to the stage that we're at now. And the reason now, and the reason not in 5 years, and the reason not 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Airbnb, VRBO, those types of things were barely getting off the ground.
Okay.
And they've called on like crazy, just like Uber did about a decade ago. And it has to be, in a town like Charleston, a county like Charleston, we've got to be very proactive because, of course, everyone wants to be here, whether it's for vacation or to live here. And we've got to protect what we have. And protect property rights at the same time. It's a tough thing to do. And again, time will tell, but I think Charleston County has done a good job with their ordinance.
And let me finish reading the article. It says this: the new short-term rental property regulations, which apply only to unincorporated properties, are contained within the Charleston County Zoning and Land Development Regulations Ordinance. Talk to me about those unincorporated properties in your mind.
It's a good point. The unincorporated parts of Charleston County, I live in what a lot of us call a donut hole.
Okay.
I'm in Charleston County.
Right.
Both of my neighbors on either side of me are in the city. And my one little property has a blue trash can where they've got a green trash can.
Right.
Everybody talks about how to determine whether it's a county property or a city property.
Right.
I could go out in my front yard and shoot off fireworks and shoot a gun, and I could do all kinds of things if I wanted to. I'm not going to go do those things, but I could because I'm in the county. My next door neighbors can't do that. In my opinion, we need to incorporate and consolidate services between city and county, but that's a completely different subject. The unincorporated parts of Charleston County, it's those little donut holes that are important. Of course, all of the unincorporated parts of Charleston County are important, but trying to have ordinances that are at least somewhat consistent and compatible with the city, whether it's the city of Charleston, the town of James Island, or any of the other municipalities in the county, would be a great thing if we could all be pretty close to on the same page, but we're not. And it gets pretty complicated pretty quickly. I've had a lot of questions from people in the city of Charleston. Some are in category 1, some are in category 2, some are in category 3. Each one of those has a different set of rules for short-term rental. And then, of course, if they're in the county, like I am and a lot of other people are, is yet another set of rules. And it's short-term rental is a simple subject. Regulating it is very complicated.
And you talk about complications and obviously questions. You know, when I went on Facebook, on your Facebook, particular personal Facebook page, a lot of people had questions about these things, and particularly about the three types of short-term rentals. Talk to me in one word about limited home rental.
Okay, this is in the county, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, most of my questions have been from people living in the city, even though that's not what we're talking about here. And the names of our categories have changed a couple of times, so forgive me if I trip up a touch. But the limited home rental is someone could rent up to 72 nights per year, and they would be basically limited to renting a room of their home, not their entire home. So if you have a spare bedroom and you want to make a little extra money, you could rent a bedroom up to 72 nights a year. That's what that particular category is for.
Extended home rental.
Extended home rental is up to 144 nights per year.
Okay.
And can apply to an entire home. It requires going to the BZA, the Board of Zoning Appeals,
right.
And asking for a special exception and asking for those additional nights between 72 and 144 nights. The BZA would have the authority to approve anything in between there, between 72 and 144 nights. So if a bunch of your neighbors came out and complained, they might just approve the 72 nights, or they might approve 100. If nobody comes out and complains, they might approve the 144 nights in that particular category.
Commercial guest house.
That is, I'm glad it's in there, but I can tell you that it's not going to apply to many properties in the county. That is commercially zoned property that has accommodations in it, and there's not much of that in the county, in the unincorporated parts of Charleston County. But if you do comply with that particular category, you would be basically unlimited on the number of nights you can rent.
Okay.
And I believe that also requires a special exception permit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm reading here as well. And let me go back to June.
Okay.
Obviously, you lost your bid as far as becoming the next, Charleston County. Obviously, I forgot all of what's the name of it now, but
Register of Deeds.
Register of Deeds. That's right. I talked about it a lot here on Quintin.
I try to forget about it as well.
I don't blame you. But when you look back to then to now, what did you learn about that whole entire race?
Well, I didn't know this question was coming up, but that's fine. Basically, the situation that the Democratic Party has is more or less the coming of a civil war between various groups within the party. And I'm quite confident that there were two things in that particular race that honestly had very little to do with me. And I try not to take it personally because of that. There are a number of people in the African American community that feel like the party only cares about them when it's time to vote. And so, they came out for the African American candidate, Michael Miller, who won the primary, and that's fine. We'll see if that's going to be a good thing in November. We'll see. I don't know. There's also a number of people in the party that have not had good choices in Democratic primaries in the recent past.
Okay.
And because of that, they've gotten to where they tend to vote in Republican primaries to try to be spoilers for the Republican candidates. That is rarely, if ever, a good idea, and rarely, if ever, successful. But what it does is it takes votes away from the Democratic candidates and affects the outcome of the race. And it's a shame. But it is what it is. Again, I don't take either of those things personally,
Okay.
so we'll see where things go from here.
And if I were to interview you for Quintin's close-ups a year later, what would you tell me about Patrick Bell
A year from
now?
now.
Yes, sir.
I would say you didn't see that coming, did you? I've always got some more things in the works.
Right.
Got some good things that there will be to talk about a year from now, and we'll just wait until then and talk about it then.
Okay. Patrick Bell, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you, Quintin.
You're welcome.
Enjoyed it.
Likewise.